Hi guys, this is Atco. Well, last time we looked at this Westinghouse, I put in all the caps in and I was ready to test this thing. On the good side, when I plugged it in, I didn't have any damage from anything, nothing shorted, so it looked like it'd be okay. But when I turned it on and everything warmed up, all I could pick up was one station, and a very weak station, and it was distorted as well. So I figured, well, I still got some work to do on this. One thing that I hadn't thought about, but I thought just for grins, how does AM work where I live? I went to a couple other radios that I have, older radios that were working. I bought them that way and really didn't do much with them because I had bought them just for display. So I plugged them in, and I just don't really pick up hardly anything in this area. One station is what is pretty strong, and then there are a couple weak ones. But so maybe this radio is not as bad as I thought it was, but it still does need some work. So what could I do? Look around this thing. I thought, well, maybe I gotta, I replaced all the caps, but I could have a resistor. I mean, this is a 70, 80-year-old radio, so I checked all the resistors, and they're, I checked them in the circuit, but still with the ohm meter they all were within tolerance of what the schematics said that they were supposed to have, except one. And there was one that looks like a 2-watt resistor that's supposed to be a 22 ohm resistor that was measured 51. So maybe that's part of the problem. So had to go and look for one. Went to the ham radios and went to see what I could find, and found a friend who said he had one, and we found a 20 ohm, looked like a 3-watt, and put it in there, but it didn't seem to make any difference. Didn't get any different results. So I started really looking at this radio a little closer, and all of a sudden I looked back into where the tuner capacitor, and there should be 2 screws in there. Well, one of the screws in the mylar was missing. Well, that could make a difference. Alright, where am I going to get that? Well, I have a few of these radios that I picked up pretty cheap that I knew did not work, and I've just had them on display. It was actually an old RCA, and one of the first ones I've ever picked up at a ham fest. I knew it didn't work, and I thought, I'll use the parts out of that if it will help me with this radio. So I went in there, and fortunately with that one, the tuner capacitors hadn't been screwed with, and I took the screw out and the mylar out of those, and then I put that into one of these. So I tried that, and that did help. I could tune a little bit and get something out of there. Still not good enough. It was still distorted. I thought, well, there is a kind of a rip in the speaker. That could cause some of the problems. So it's not a bad rip. So I just needed something to put on there to hold it, and I just put a little bit of my wife's nail polish, just ripped it over, just laid it over top of that rip, and yeah, I think that helped a little bit too. But still, I'm just not getting much out of this thing. So I don't have any test equipment to align IF transformers but I thought I might just see if I can adjust it a little bit, you know. So I just adjusted a little bit at the top of the two IFs and didn't go too far. I didn't want to knock anything out, but I started with the IF2, and then that helped a little bit, and then I went to the IF1, and that helped too. So they were a little bit off, but not much. Still, I didn't want to go any further without any test equipment. So I thought, well, you know, that other RCA had the same tubes as this set. And I went and tested them against the ones that I have here. And actually, one of them in particular was a lot difference in how powerful it was. And the one that was already in here, now I had said they were all working, but this one, that I had with this radio, when I tested it, it does go into the good area, but just barely went into the good. With this one that came out of the RCA, was a lot stronger. So I popped that out and put that one in, and you know, it made a big difference. It did make a big difference. Is this going to turn into like a good brand new transistor radio? No, but you know, I think I'm at the point now with it. This doesn't sound too bad. So let me turn it on and show you where I'm at right now. Let's warm it up.
Because you just explained it. They get a tooth in the door or something. Andrew, you know I love you. I miss you, but I'm glad. More drones and so forth. And you got aircraft. And you got people. Snyder and Jerry Jones. Good work. Quality of life crime was set. But Gregory, here's what, but before we go and become mega, like the other guy said, before we just become a whole bunch of Death Eaters, the main...
I find my other radios, I don't pick up anything on this lower side of the band, so I'm not too concerned. But if you see, I'm getting 4 or 5 stations now, but I was only getting except one, and it was very, very weak. So I think I've done real well on this now, and I think it's about ready to see if I can get this closed up. Next part 4 that my repair will be to work on the cabinet, and let's see if I can get this thing closer to where be ready to roll. Okay guys, well, thanks for hanging in there, and watch for part 4.